They said the joy comes in the morning.
Alright y'all, so I already did my brows off camera because my pencil actually ended up breaking soon I started recording. So the whole pencil came out and I had to stick it back in there. And so it was a little bit of a struggle to do my brows, so I didn't even want to tussle with that because this is Thanksgiving Day. I did ask you guys some questions on Instagram just so we have something to talk about while I go through this process or whatever. I think one of the most asked questions that I get is either always about my hair or about my makeup. And I try to stay away from beauty content, y'all, because the truth is I'm traumatized. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I've had a beauty channel once upon a time. A long, very long time ago. Obviously it wasn't successful, but the memories I have tied to that time of my life is not the best. Every time people ask for like beauty content, it just kind of brings me back to that place. But I'm learning that I have to forget about it, forgive that time of my life and move on. But she said something that was really good, and it was that, you know, having that orphan spirit, that, you know, always feeling like, oh, woe is me, or I'm not chosen. Like, no, you are chosen. You're chosen by God. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what is what, like, you know. And so I had to push through it for this video, and I had to pray about it. But nonetheless, let's get into the goods. For any makeup routine, make sure your base is amazing. You never want to throw makeup on without having your skincare taken care of, because that's a big part of why makeup looks good on some people. Some people are like, oh, this girl, I did her tutorial and it didn't work, because she probably did a lot of skin prep and you didn't. My favorite moisturizer, the Pharmacy Honey Halo moisturizer, and then of course SPF, and we use the Shiseido SPF 50, and that's my favorite as of right now. And with a primer, and I used to be a Milk Hydro Grip primer girl until I found out about the e.l.f. one, and y'all, it works just as good, if not maybe even a little bit better. Just get a little bit on the back of my hand. Just rub it in the T-zone area. I don't usually go like all the way down here. I just put it in this area because I feel like that's where I get the most like patchiness and like splotchiness, and I guess it's because I sweat more. I get more hydrated in that area and things like that, so oil builds up there quicker. So I usually try to get it in that area, as well as like maybe even under my eyes. I know you're not supposed to swipe under your eyes, but sit for like a couple minutes while I kind of conceal. So I conceal it in a color that is my skin color, which I conceal right now with Makeup by Mario's foundation. It's been giving me some issues as a foundation, which I won't get into because I haven't cracked the code on why. Because when I initially bought it, it wasn't doing this, so I don't know why it's doing it now. But I literally use like the tiniest pump of it, because this foundation a little bit goes like a very long way. So I just use like a real little dot of that, and I take my finger and I'm just gonna go under my eyes and correct, like just color correct, I guess you can say, because of like dark marks, or if there's any other areas that I feel may be shadowy, I'll do that. But I'm going to get into some of the questions. What's your favorite step in your makeup routine? I'm gonna have to say my favorite part of my makeup routine is most definitely the face. Like, I love doing my face. Like, I'm not heavy on eyeshadow anymore. Back in the day I used to wear eyeshadow a whole lot, but I'm not really heavy on like eyeshadow and stuff like that, so I'm not doing anything cool on my eyes. I usually don't, but like that face, once you put the face together, I don't know. And I think my favorite step out of the entire face has got to be the blush. Like, the blush just like adds that color, that it just sets the look off even more. And I remember there was a time where, you know, like the girlies was like, everybody hated blush, including myself. I'm gonna take some of that concealer like right around my mouth area too, because like I said, just the shadowy parts where I feel like I'm a little bit darker. Next question. This is my first time, so this is gonna be very hard to try to do my makeup, because usually I can get my makeup done in like 25-30 minutes, but I'm not used to talking and doing my makeup. Wait, what are some things that you didn't have growing up but you gave to your children? Example, like McDonald's money, which is hilarious. To be completely honest, before I get into that, If y'all hear my kids, I got kids. It is what it is. I ain't hiding them. For foundation, I'm using the Dior Backstage foundation in the color 4.5 Warm. Favorite foundation. I think somebody asked that too. Favorite foundation. I like her. It's just like she's very light coverage. You can build it up, but it's not doing too much, and it just looks so like clean. I don't know. But things that I didn't have growing up that I'm giving my kids, honestly, like, and she gave the example like McDonald's money. What's funny is that was money was probably the least like issues I had growing up with my parents. Like I will forever be grateful for that, and I'm always telling people like, oh, Bougie Brittany is not 2023 Brittany. Bougie Brittany was born this way, okay? We was wearing 24 karat gold at 1 year old, okay? Like, my parents gave us me and my sisters, a really, really good life when it comes to, like, experiences, like, luxury. This is a lot. I put too much, y'all, but they really exposed us to a lot of nice things very, like, early. And you know, I don't know what until becoming an adult, honestly, I didn't know what living in an apartment was like. You know, like growing up, we've only owned homes and whatnot. Financially, there was nothing that I don't think my parents really gave us. Now, something that I want to give my kids that I don't think my parents emotionally gave us was the individualism. So because one child is one way doesn't mean every child is going to be that way, because in the end of it all, we are all human beings. Like that kid, and there's scripture on there, like train up that child in which way they're called to go, not in which way you want them to go. Like, you know, I'm gonna put the scripture on the screen so I can be accurate, you know. Okay, I'm gonna make it really quick. Proverbs 22:6 says, and I'm reading the AMP translation, train up a child in the way he should go, teaching him to seek God's wisdom and wills for his abilities and talents. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Our children weren't created and given to us simply to appease us and make us feel better. Our children were created for God, for the glory of God, so that they can go into whatever God calls them to. So part of what God is going to call them to is attached to their personality, is attached to their ways. And you may have that child that thinks outside the box, that may be a little rebellious, and there's ways to handle that and, you know, nurture that without rejecting them, you know. So that's what I meant by all this. You know, but that's one thing that I wish that I had as a child. I wish that there wasn't a constant comparison to the other siblings, and especially I think it happens a lot with girls. I'm also using my favorite foundation brush to buff this in, Refi foundation brush. I was pronouncing this wrong for so long. I kept saying Refi, but it's Refi. And I washed my brushes yesterday, y'all, just for this video, for the first time in 6 months. I'm just kidding. But this is the Refi brush. I'm gonna use it to go in. But yeah, back to what I'm saying about that. I wish that, I also feel like, and anybody that has like just sisters or more sisters than they do brothers, I think a lot of times comparison happens so much with girls. Like, it doesn't happen as much with boys. But with girls, like, people just love to like compare, like, oh, this one's supposed to be, this one did this, so this one's supposed to do that. And it's like, we weren't given that, I felt like I wasn't given that opportunity to just be me without being told how being me was so terrible, you know. And so that's one thing I for sure don't want to, that's one thing for sure I want to give my kid. I don't want to treat the first one like the last one, or the last one like the second one, or the second one like the first one, because they're all essentially different. They all are going to be called to something differently as they get older. And, you know, they already show me like how you can discipline one way and then the other one doesn't get the same effect. Like, it's just, it's individualism. So I want to make sure that I treat my kids as individuals, not just as my kids, like as a whole. Like, oh, so y'all supposed to do this. Another thing It's just, I think affection is still really hard for me when it comes to like physical affection. Like I don't push them away when they give me hugs, but I do know I cringe a little bit. And it's because I wasn't given that. That wasn't really a thing for us, like hugs and kisses and I love yous 24/7. But I know there's probably not a day that those kids go without hearing I love you from both Jay and I. Like, that's just like something that we make sure is a priority to do, because we really do love them and we really want them to know that, not just know that based off of things that we do for them, but we want them to feel that, you know? So yeah, those are my, we ain't got no McDonald's money essentially. So I got this question several times, is how do you balance being a mom of 3? Actually, before I answer that question, is concealers. I use the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer, medium 2 ginger. Yeah, and I'm gonna mix this NARS one with this e.l.f. one. I'm gonna put a little dab of the e.l.f. one. This e.l.f. one is really good, y'all, and I think it only costs like $7. And I'm in the color Tan Sand. Yeah. I don't know why us as women, we want to find balance so badly. And I know this because when I was like in my first like early stages of motherhood, man, I'm like, yo, like my favorite question was like, how did my mom do this? Like, how was she like doing this? And I don't remember ever seeing her really sweat. Like, she would take care of like, we would come home when she was a stay-at-home mom. We would come home from school at 2 o'clock and dinner would be ready. And that's a big part of why she was probably able to do it, because we was in school. But I don't have the opportunity with my kids because they're homeschooled. But either way, I seen her like what she was able to do a lot, you know. She rarely took time for herself, you know, and I know she didn't do it in like a way to, you know, get a cookie or anything like that, but I think she did it in a way of like just what's natural to her and probably what she's seen or whatever. Like, she made it look really like very easy. And so when I entered motherhood, it was kind of one of those things that's like, what the heck, like I can't get a grasp of this. And I remember asking one time, we were at this marriage thing with our pastors years ago, and I remember asking, I think his wife, First Lady, like, how do you find a balance? And you know, she kind of explained, and he co-signed, my pastor co-signed, like, in life there's just no balance. There are going to be seasons of things being in priority, and then there are going to be seasons where certain things are not a priority. In this season right now, my children are a priority, meaning that if I have to not record a video for them, it is what it is. You know, like, if I can't work, it's just not a priority. And I think that's just why God gave me the luxury of having a space like this, and even having the Instagram platform to where I don't really have to leave the home and things like that, because I'm called to nurture my kids right now. I'm called to raise them, you know. I like to put my concealer on and then let it sit for a while so it can get a little tacky, like sticky or whatever. I'm gonna do my contour, and I'm using Merit's contour stick. I really love this contour stick. It's not super heavy like some other stuff that I've tried before. It's just like really creamy, really perfect. It blends easily and whatnot. As well, I'm gonna put a dab or two of the Rare Beauty's liquid blush in the color Joy. But yeah, now we can continue. But yeah, like, I always knew I wanted to be a mom. So when it comes to like balancing it, my kids are the priority. Like, of course, my husband and stuff like that. But I know that there's just certain things that I can't do that's just not a big priority to me in this season. Like, I was just having this conversation with my close friends, and I was telling them, like, I don't think I can nurture new friendships right now. Like, I don't think I have it in me. Like, I just want to cultivate and become the best person and friend I could be to the people around me first before I can give myself to anyone else, because I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. Like, I physically cannot. I don't have the time. I just realized my mother texted me 2 weeks ago for my phone bill. I literally just don't be having the time. I'm using the other end of the Refi brush to blend in the contour, by the way. I just physically don't have the time to like nurture certain things. So when it comes to finding the balance, in life, it's just understanding what season am I in. Okay, I'm in the season of motherhood, or I'm in the season, if you don't have kids, I'm in the season of being a wife. I'm in the season, like, find out what the priority is in that season, and then just nurture that thing. There's really no balance, like, you know, there are things that gets done and then there are things that don't. And I also think it's important to remember, like, if you find yourself struggling to balance it all, go back to God and be like, okay, what did you call me to? Because a lot of time we try to take on responsibilities that are just not ours. It's just not ours to take on. Like, it has, like, the Lord didn't call us there. And so I'm very intentional, like, God, I'm listening. Where do you want me? Because I've done it by myself before and it didn't work. So you're gonna have to help me through this one. And also, when he calls you to it, he will surely give you the grace to get through it, okay? I'm gonna use a beauty blender. I told you guys this in a video some years ago, that the pink, the tan, and green, it's like a greenish blue, is my favorite beauty blender. All of the other ones I feel like it's too hard. But I'm using a pink beauty blender, and it's dry, by the way. Because I felt like when I wet my beauty blenders, they were breaking the product down and causing the product to crack on my face later in the day. So I use it dry as of right now. That's why I say go for the softer colors, because it helps. But the question was, what? Oh, how do you like being a? Let me make sure I got it right. What is it like being a mom of 3? Mom of 3 is probably the most beautiful stage in my life, and I don't know what it is. Somebody recently messaged me because I had posted this video, and at the time it was just me and Jay and Royce and Malia, like Carter wasn't there, and they were like, oh my god, no Carter, like that's so crazy. It's like they're so used to see me with like 3 kids, and I'm like, literally, I say this about every kid. I literally tell them this daily. I be like, the Lord knew I needed a Royce, the Lord knew I needed a Malia, the Lord knew I needed the Carter, because each of them is just like, who would have known, like, this would have brought me so much joy. Like, I really enjoy being around them. I really love those kids. And I really feel like Mom of 3 has been my easiest, like, transition, because of just, you know, having the proper wisdom, having the proper, like, understanding of motherhood, lowering my expectations on motherhood, like not going around expecting to be super mom and get all these different things done and, you know, whatnot. I just going back in with that foundation brush just to make sure everything is blending. You know, a quote she had seen on Facebook or something like that, that was just like, enjoy your little ones, because one day you're gonna pick them up and then put them down, and that's gonna be your last time you ever pick them up again. I heard that, I just cried, because I'm like, yo, like, that's so true. Like, it's so real. Like, I don't remember my last time being able to pick Malia up and hold her. I don't remember my last time being able to pick Royce up and hold him. Like, just like, there was a day that I picked him up for the last time, and it'll never happen again. It's like, it'll never happen again. And so the third time around, it's just, I take every day, like, I even when it's those hard days, even when I feel like tired, I just embrace it, because I know there's gonna be a time I'm gonna be out the season and I'm gonna forget about it. There's gonna be a last time that I deal with a temper tantrum. There's gonna be a last time that I deal with the wetting of the bed. Like, there's gonna be a last time, and so I enjoy Mom of 3 life, and I highly recommend where it ended at. But the question was, what are some of your favorite things to do in your me time? So I get my kids to bed promptly every night at 8:30. Like, that's a non-negotiable. It's either 8, 8:30. Sometimes we'll do even 9 o'clock. It just depends on how, like, on it I was throughout the day to make sure dinner was ready on time and, you know, like, all that stuff. Well, they're not going to sleep usually no later than 8:30. And after 8:30, that's my me time. Recently, y'all, this is going to sound so churchy. Pray. Read my word, watch some Bible studies, sermons, because I'm in this part of my life where I'm understanding, like, I'm just growing deeper. Excuse me. I'm just, like, getting deeper and deeper in my faith. Like, I feel like I've always like since I got saved, like, you know, I believed and everything, but I would always find excuses to why I couldn't pray or why I couldn't do something, when really, like, I just wasn't prioritizing it. And so right now, currently, my favorite me time is praying, reading my word or whatever. And then I love a good TikTok scroll. I love a good TikTok scroll. Like, that's my toxic trait. That's why it's like I can't click on the TikTok tab unless I have absolutely nothing to do. I'm telling you, there's a spirit behind it. And I'm praying that the Lord breaks I'm praying that I can get over TikTok. But like literally I just could sit for 30 minutes. No, 30 minutes is an understatement. I could sit for an hour, hour and a half and just scroll. It's like, it's bad. It's real bad. And then other than that, it's like self-care. Like I really love like the matching pajamas. I feel like an old person. Like I really love the matching pajamas. Go take a shower. I love self-care. I like to get in my bed at the end of the day and just rub my feet together and act like a little old lady. Scroll, read my word, watch a sermon, whatever the case may be. Eat a snack. I usually have my snack by the end of the day or something. Like I just, from my me thing, what belongs to me is like self-care, hygiene. My kids have had my kids have had my body. My husband it continues to have that. I'm constantly sharing and giving. If I sit to eat something, a kid will come up and I give and things like that. And I'm not complaining, but like there are times where I just want something for me. I just want this to be me. And that me moment is my self-care moment. Like I feel like I just feel so good and feminine and just like happy like when I'm doing those things. So yes, my me moment is self-care. My me thing is self-care, reading my words, scrolling through TikTok, YouTube. I'm kind of got skeptical on YouTubers to watch, but yeah, you catch my drift. I'm using Huda Beauty's pressed powder and banana bread. I got some questions about grieving and like how is that going? What time is it? Ooh, I gotta go. Hurry up, y'all. But grieving and how that's going and whatnot, and it's gotten better. One day we will testify. I was talking to God about it. Like I know right now it's not my time to testify about it, and I like to just go in and press it in. But one day I will testify about, you know, all the stuff that kind of has happened in the last season of my life that nobody will probably believe has happened. But you know, grief is hard. Grief is a roller coaster. It's something that you take day by day. But if the passing of my dad didn't do anything else, it encouraged me to go deeper with the Lord. I think I kind of spoke about this like a while ago, how I told you guys like my dad kind of denounced his faith some years ago, some years before he actually passed or whatever, and whatnot. And he's been sick, so I kind of like always knew like, okay, one day he's gonna go, and Lord, I really want him to go to heaven. I really want him to go to heaven. And you know, my sisters, they would pray for him. My sister had her like friends praying for him, you know, everything like that. And you know, he did end up coming around. He did end up coming around in the end, like on his deathbed. But the way that I seen it was just like, wow. My dad was fairly young. He's like 56 years old. It's just like, wow, you could have had like so much. God could have gave you so much if you weren't so like. And so when he passed, like, that was my constant thing to my husband. I would tell him like, I don't want to be in that place. I want to die empty. I want to die knowing like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get to heaven and the Lord's gonna say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Like, I just hate that you got there by the skin of your like, it just. So for me, in this stage of grief, I am in a place of where like I'm not gonna make the mistakes that he made, you know. Like I'm just in a place that I'm going to make sure that I die empty. Like I die with nothing left in me and like being used by God, you know. And So yeah, that's how grief is going. It's not as bad as it was. I remember I had to stop watching Grey's Anatomy at one point because it was that bad. Like how like seeing people on monitors and stuff would trigger me to think about that moment, those last moments with him and whatnot. So I'm definitely made progress. It's not nearly as bad, and that's by the grace of God. But yeah, it's been a season. It's been a season, and you know, God bless his soul. One day we will see each other again. We won't know each other. We won't really know it's each other, but you know, we'll know. You know, if you read your word, you know. But yeah. So you know, it's definitely gotten better. And yeah. All right, now after I set concealer, I go straight in for contour. My contour powder of choice, the Christian Dior Forever Natural bronzer, and I'm in the color Deep Bronze. I feel like it's probably the darkest color. I know I didn't need the darkest one, but I like a dark contour. I don't know about you. Okay, so I'm putting it on this fluffy Sephora brush, powder brush. It's the number 50 brush, and I'm just gonna go into contour. Blush. Somebody asked me about my blush too. So I was using I used the cream blush, and then I was using the Dior Backstage in the color Rosy Glow during the summer.
Oh, don't start with mine.
You want to be a girl so bad. You will never be a girl. You is a sir. Get out. Out.
I had to get my slides.
The dirty slides. And why is Royce wearing a pants that don't fit? Get Carter. Look. Coming to destroy stuff.
Who you in here talking to?
Close the door, please. But yeah, I was using that blush. I was using that blush during the summer, but it's winter. It's fall. It's winter. I need something warm and cozy, so I've been using eyeshadow actually. So I've been using this one, and I'm mixing it with this like brown shade or whatever. So I would definitely say purples and like deep reds look really good on brown skin. Well, black women, especially brown skin women. And I just go in with this same fluffy brush, and I just dab it in there. And look, it's gonna look heavy because that's what blush does. But blush is actually your first makeup that fades out. So don't overthink it, okay? Don't overthink it. Once you spray and you set and all this other stuff, it's gonna calm down, I promise, okay? But another question I had got was, how do I find the time to get ready, fully ready like this as a mom of 3? I mean, I prioritize my time, and I even go through the same spots I contour with my blush, like lightly, because it just brings color back to your face. But if I know I'm gonna do my makeup, I get ready like 3-4 hours before I actually have to leave. Like, it's just about prioritizing your time. If it's not a priority to you, it's likely that you just don't care for it, and that's okay. Like, you know, be okay with not being the same as other people, as somebody else. Because for me, y'all, you can ask my family, my cousins. Every time I speak to my cousins, they all say the same. I need my settings straight. 1 second. For me, since well before kids, I loved getting up early and getting ready. Like, even before wearing makeup and everything like that, like, I was getting up and getting ready. I would wake up as a kid at like 6 o'clock, get fully ready, eat my breakfast. My mom used to, like, they used to make fun of me. I wish I was that girl again, because I can't get up early now. But that was who I was. My cousins will always laugh because they're like, we're going to the grocery store. Why do you have a full face of makeup? This was before kids, of course. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it was always a part of me to always love getting ready. And then when I learned how to do makeup, it was like, oh, I gotta practice. So I used every opportunity to practice. And then motherhood came, and I stopped kind of doing it. And then I was losing myself. So now I make it a priority, if I'm going somewhere or if I'm doing something, to do the absolute most, not look like what I'm going through. But if you're not somebody that's naturally into like makeup or looking like it's not gonna come natural. But if you're looking to do it, like I said, I still have to prioritize my time, right? Like right now, I did bad on timing because I went back to sleep this morning. So I am kind of late, and I know my family gonna be mad because I'm making the mac and cheese, but I prioritize my time. If I have to wake up at 6:45 to make sure that my makeup is done, I'm gonna wake up at 6:45. It's a priority to me. It may not be a priority to other people though, but I need to hurry up, so let's go. I'm using the Sephora setting spray right now, and I'm just gonna spray all over my face, and you'll see like as I spray, it'll kind of all start to do its thing. So I like to spray a decent amount, and I let it cool for a little bit, not too much, before I start to do highlight. I know the girls say we don't highlight anymore, but that's them, not me, okay? Because we gonna highlight, okay? I love a little pizzazz on my face, okay? So I have a fan brush, and I'm using the MAC highlighter in Serenity Seeker. And this is my favorite highlighter. I swear, invest in a good highlighter, because I've had this like 3 years and it hasn't moved because you barely use product. And I just go on the high points of my face with it. And then I use my finger, my ring finger. I'll go into it with some, and I'll do a dot on my nose, a line right here on the bridge, kind of like an exclamation mark. Make sure you blend it in so you're not looking crazy. And then Cupid's bow. Yeah, that's it. Just when I spray my setting, sometimes my under eye will start to crack again. So this is what I do to make sure that it lasts all day, okay? I go in with my Chanel Universal Powder, and this is in the color, I think this is transparent. It gotta be transparent. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with this little Beauty Blender puff pad thingy that you can stick your finger in and whatnot like that. But I'm gonna use this side, okay? So I'm going to go in with this little thingy with a little bit of, like very little of this Chanel powder, my eyes, and down the like side of my nose, just to get it more like structured. And I'm gonna let it sit. Just like that. So it's gonna look like this for a little bit, and just let it sit, just to fix any cracks and stuff that setting spray might have caused, because I have a lot of under eye wrinkles. If you don't have that problem, then you should be fine, but it's just how my eyes is, and I am against sleep. Just let it sit for a little bit, just so it can fill those cracks and like just smooth back out. I really like the Chanel powder. I have this super big beauty blender by Real Techniques, and I love this beauty blender particularly for, I don't wet it or anything, but I use my Sephora Micro Smooth powder just to put powder all around my face, and I use the flat side of this beauty blender. So just like that. And I just lightly, because I don't want to look too much. And I'll go under the eye too with that Chanel powder on the neck, so our neck don't ever not match. Y'all see, I used all that powder that was on there. On just that one little swipe, I used all around my face to blend everything in. Ain't that something? Ain't it funny? Fun fact, I used to do makeup for people. Like, I was a freelance makeup artist. I was in that era at some point. So yeah, that's where I learned to do my makeup at. So now everything is pretty much done, but like I said, I typically don't do eyeshadow, especially since I did my lashes today. But what I usually will do, just because I have like reddish tint to my eyes, is I go in with my contour powder. And just lightly brushing on my eyes just to give more of a warmer effect, and you don't see like my veins because I have like red, like I have the veins on my eyes, stuff like that. Just kind of lightly brush into there. And then I'm gonna take my New York eyeliner. It has that really good felt tip, I guess you can say. And I'm just gonna, my lashes are done and I haven't done them in a while, but I'm just going to, let's see if I can get it on camera. I ain't getting it on camera. I'll be right back. So I did a little bit of liner on the top lid, and then I'm gonna go in with some mascara. This is Tarte's, I don't remember what exactly it's called, but it's Tarte's Big Ego mascara, I think. I'm just gonna go on my lower lash. Ah! I'm flushing. I'll just wait till it dries. If that ever happens to y'all, let it dry and get a Q-tip and then wipe it off. It'll come right off. I need to go finish getting everybody ready because, like I say, it's Thanksgiving. Because we're behind on time, so I'm going to go do that and then I'll be right back. I indeed was not right back. I got caught up. Like I said, it was Thanksgiving Day. So yeah, I was running late. Had to get the kids, finish getting them ready and things like that. So this was my car selfie. But I really hope you guys enjoy the video. And let's chat again. Okay, bye.